Hello everybody and welcome to this week's midweek remedy with me, James Thacker. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. The sun is out, it's shining, the world is seeming like it's getting back to normal, especially in the UK. I have to say that I'm so looking forward to just being able to get out and first of all play rugby tonight, because for sports is back this week for the UK. So I haven't played rugby properly in a competitive match for about a year now, which is absolutely sickening for me to say that, because it's such a long time to have gone without something that I'm actually massively passionate about. So yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing for that. And then also people can meet up in groups of six now, which is going to be fantastic for people to get social circles back together. And just feels like we're inching more back to reality every day. So that's all good stuff. My week this week, so I've moved actually back home to my house in Bishop Stortford, because that's where I need to be in order to play rugby. And unfortunately, that's meant having to leave Ziggy's place in Stratford, which is obviously very sad, but hopefully it won't be too long until we're able to see each other more frequently again. But it was nice to come back home and see everyone. One of the biggest things, and I literally have been urging to talk about this and to literally tell everyone that I know, is watching Seaspiracy. I watched that on Sunday night. Maybe it was probably not something that I should have watched right before going to bed, but wow, that is super eye-opening as a film. Expertly made, really, really well-made documentary. You know, they did such a fantastic job on it, to the way that they were phrasing things and putting things into contrast as to things that we thought were a big deal and really aren't. I think one of the things that I was speaking to my friend Charlotte about this yesterday, and I think people seem to fret so much on things like the Gulf of Mexico oil spill. I think that every day I think things like fishing activities, I can't remember you have to go and watch it, the actual documentary, but more damage is done in a day to sea life through fishing activities around the world than was done in the whole 3 months of that Gulf of Mexico oil spill. So putting things like that into perspective for people is really, really important and impactful. It really, really made a lasting impact on me. And I just really go and urge people to kind of engage with that kind of material. I'm going to just get up now some of the most important facts. So on the Seaspiracy Instagram page, it says eight facts about our ocean that will shock you. I'll go through them now because I think it's interesting and it's good for people to know. So 90% of the world's large fish have been wiped out by fishing. I mean, that 90%, that's an incredible amount. And when you think about how that breaks down, larger fish eat smaller fish, and the smaller fish eat little microorganisms that absorb carbon on the surface of our seas. I think it said in the documentary that around 80% of the carbon in the world is absorbed via the sea. So if the seas die, we die, essentially. This is why it's so hard hitting. I'm literally I have to talk to people about it because it's so important. They also touched on slavery in the seafood industry. So slavery in the seafood industry is reported in 47 countries. Abuse and murder are common practice on these fishing vessels. And they were talking through some examples of, and they were interviewing some people who had been working under slave labour on these ships. Unbelievably eye-opening, and it's really testament to we really don't know where our products, our goods and services, our goods and the food that we are coming from, and the methods that they're being used to kind of harvest or fish or anything like that. So it's really worth looking into, because you just never know. I never knew until watching this documentary. I've made a firm commitment now to never eat fish again on the back of what I've learned and how damaging the fishing industry can be to the global population. I think this documentary is really going to change a lot of perspectives for people and be very eye-opening. Governments give $35 billion to the fishing industry every year to continue plundering our seas. According to the United Nations, only $30 billion is needed to solve world hunger. I mean, again, the facts go on and on as to how startling they are. 250,000 sea turtles are captured, injured, or killed by the fishing industry every year in the United States, compared to a global survey which estimated 1,000 sea turtles die in plastic per year worldwide. So, you know how we all had that massive push for banning plastic straws in McDonald's and every place just banning single-use plastics. Well, actually, it turns out that 250 times the amount of sea turtles and I'm sure other living things in the sea are damaged by the fishing industry every year. So it puts it into perspective as to how great this threat is. 46% of the Great Pacific garbage patch is comprised of fishing nets. 300,000 dolphins, whales, and porpoises are killed in fishing nets every year, along with 30,000 sharks per hour. Per hour. I mean, I could go on and on, and I'm not going. What the outcome of this kind of chat would be is to go and watch Seaspiracy, because it's changed my outlook on life. I mean, I'm early days yet, but consider if anyone knows me and how much I love a good steak, they'll realise how if I was to say, considering going vegetarian, how much of a, I suppose, shift in mindset it is. And I suppose people can look at that and think, oh, that's very reactionary based on one thing that you've engaged with. But I've actually been on a kind of journey of looking at how, my day-to-day habits and activities and the things that I'm doing, and just over a large length of time, I've been actually trying to analyze, okay, well, do I need to be consuming this much meat per week? Do I need to be shopping from this place? Should I be shopping more locally? And just really considering actions. And I think maybe a switch towards vegetarianism, not completely, but way more plant-based diet is a good way to go. That's genuinely something I'm considering now. I'll have to figure it out, because obviously, how that it has health implications. Obviously, being a rugby player as well, how to navigate that whole sphere as well, because a lot of, when I was growing up, a lot of nutritionists would say you need a good level of protein, and I just don't know whether in order to recover, and I just don't know whether the same amount will be achieved via a vegetarian diet. So I need to do some experimenting. But it'll be interesting to kind of go down that path. I had a meatless day yesterday. I felt really energized. I felt good. I mean, it's probably just because I'm quite excited and enthusiastic in general at the moment. But I think it was interesting. So basically, the outcome, and what I'm trying to say is, go and watch Seaspiracy now. Do it, because it's important, and you need to just listen. And it's a really interesting, fascinating documentary. Now, putting that aside, now that we're going back to normal a little bit more in lockdown, I wanted to kind of run through and things that hopefully we can see the back of with us getting out of lockdown. So I'm going to run through my biggest bugbears of lockdown, and hopefully things that we don't really have to hear again. So first of all, number one is Zoom meetings. I mean, everyone knows how, I think everyone that's had to work from home knows how fatiguing and just monotonous Zoom meetings can be. You lose that personal touch, and I've always been someone that enjoys being around people and developing that human connection. So it's just, the grind of having to be on Zoom call after Zoom call in the same room. It's crazy. And so hopefully, as much as we will still have to do elements of that in the future, it will be more of a hybrid approach. I think, I'm fed up with rubbish Zoom backgrounds where people are pretending to be in some generic apartment to hide what's actually going on in the back. I actually want to see what's going on in your messy apartment. I don't care. Just, like, don't pretend you're in somewhere, like some fancy building that I've seen a million times. I want to see, like, bring some personal touch. I want to see what's going on in the background. If you don't, if you value your privacy, that I can understand that to a degree. But some of the rubbish, just horrible corporate Zoom backgrounds that I see, it just feels gross, and I'm fed up with seeing them, basically. On top of that, if you're someone who has a lot going on in the background when you're on Zoom calls, I can understand if you've got young kids and babies and you're having to do homeschooling, but things like dogs barking in the background, things like babies crying. I remember being on a call with one of my clients, and they literally brought a toddler onto their knee when I was trying to talk to them about something business related. I thought, well, Obviously, I can't concentrate now with that going on. She's literally bouncing them on their knee like there was nothing going on. I was like, is it just me or am I going crazy? But there you go. Hopefully, come whenever we're out of lockdown properly, I just know more, and we can leave business to business, and hopefully everything can be a bit more personal because Zoom is just exhausting, to be honest. Another obvious one: masks. I hate them so much. I think everyone hates them, but they're like a necessary evil at the minute. I genuinely cannot stand, and I'm someone that really suffers with like a little drop at the end of my nose, especially when the weather gets cold. So yeah, that's been a nightmare for me, and I just can't wait to get rid of masks. Queuing to go into supermarkets now. Oh, I've moaned about this to multiple people. This seems really, I mean, it's not crazy because I understand why you only allowed a certain amount in, but the only things that I want to be queuing for in the rest of 2021 after we get out of lockdown is clubs, lines for a line at the bar, and that's it, and a club. I don't want to be queuing for anything else because I am done. I'm done with waiting in line for 20 minutes to get a loaf of bread and some milk. Yeah, so queues to the supermarkets, get in the bin, and not being able to go to the pubs unless it's booked. I mean, I long for the days where I'm back at Loughborough and I can just go into the Griffin pub on the corner, no questions asked, go sit down at a table with my mates, nearest one available, and just drink the night away. I cannot be bothered to book up anymore. I don't want to have to sanitize my hands. I mean, that will probably stay, and that's probably a good thing, to be fair. So sanitizing your hands doesn't matter, but yeah, just the booking thing and being turned away if you haven't booked a table, and only being able to stick to your 1 till 3 slot, and then after 3 you get turfed out. It's stressful. It's annoying. I cannot wait to be back in the pub with all you lot. So that was. Thank you for indulging in my what grinds my gears session for the last 5 minutes. Hopefully, hopefully that reflects and is the same as what a lot of you guys are feeling, guys. It's all getting back to normal. Everyone should start feeling positive. The sun's out. Get the barbecues out. We're getting back to normal slowly but surely. I hope everyone has an absolutely fantastic week of seeing friends that they haven't seen in a while, social groups, getting back to sport and enjoying ourselves just a little bit more. Go watch Seaspiracy, educate, be informed. Let's read up on these things, challenge ideas, and really reflect on how we can be better as a human race and individually, because I'm definitely trying to do that every day. And I will speak to you again very soon. I think the idea is to have, so my brother is coming back from Manchester, and I know that he's got a lot of things that he'd love to say. So I think we might have a good old chinwag and really go down the rabbit hole on a few topics of discussion. But that's all I'll say for now. But hopefully that's going to be a really fun catch up because I haven't spoken to him in a little while badly. So that would be good fun, and it's got the potential to get weird because we're both really weird. So hopefully we can record that and it will be out by the weekend. But have a great week. Enjoy the sun. Take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you.